The next game we're going to look at does shift us to Sunday. Welcome to Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you out there. I do hope you have a great holidays, and to all those who are celebrating the Jewish holidays and all the other holidays this time of year, I hope it goes well for you. As for the Green Bay Packers, they got a big gift last night in their win against the Los Angeles Rams, keeping their playoff hopes at least dimly alive. They have to win out and get some help. Will they get the help that they need in South Beach as they go up against an 8-6 Miami Dolphins team that's thawing out from its trip to Buffalo? This game between the Packers and Dolphins kicks off on Fox, 1 p.m. on Sunday. It's the only game 1 p.m. on Sunday, as the NFL only has 3 games on Christmas, while the NBA puts on its blitz of a number of games. The Dolphins are 4-point favorites where I see it in this one. This line has moved a little bit. I think the Packers are getting a little bit of love after last night's game. So this has come down just a half point or so over the last couple of hours. So Miami is a 4-point favorite. The over-under set at 49.5 points. Some gambling trends before we get everyone's analysis. The Packers are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 meetings with the Dolphins. The Packers are also 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 road games. The Dolphins are 2-8 against the spread in their last 28 home games. The over is 4-1 in the Packers' last 5 games overall, and the under is 5-1 in the Dolphins' last 6 games overall. Adam, how do you feel about this one between the Packers and Dolphins?
Yeah, it's got my Packers against Lopes Dolphins, so it should be interesting. Miami needs to win badly. They were on the road for the last 3 games, out in California for 2, and like you mentioned, a tough loss up at Buffalo. But they did score 29 points in that game, and I think that's something to be said. Maybe their offense may have get back on track, even with those cold conditions. You mentioned it before. Green Bay has a small chance to make the playoffs. They need a lot of help, and they need to win out as well. I'm just looking at the defensive side of the ball in this one. Green Bay shows second in the league against the pass, but that's because they're 29th in the league against the run. So I think Mostert had a big day against Buffalo at 136 yards. I think he could have another big day against Green Bay on defense. And to me, the secondary, I'm not sure how you slow down Waddle and Hill. I've watched the secondary all year. Like I said, I know the numbers say they're second in the pass, but Joe Barry has his defense and these guys out of position too many times. Offensively for the Packers, last night, Watson and Dobbs for the first time have been on the field healthy together with Lazard. So that gives more weapons for Rodgers, and that's going to look really good in the future with those 2 young wide receivers. Dillon did leave the game last night, questionable with concussion, but I did see today that he's expected to play. The one thing I see is the sacks for Miami. The last 3, they're averaging 3.5 sacks a game, and I think they get after Rodgers in this one. So I'm not saying it's going to be a runaway for Miami, but I think Green Bay is going to try to run the football here and utilize those 2 young wide receivers as best they can. But like I mentioned before, I think Mostert on the ground can set up a big day for the passing for Tua and get Waddle and Hill back on track. And also Miami is 5-1 at home, and as I mentioned, desperately in need of a win. So as much as it pains me to do it, I think you swallow the 4 here with Miami. I think Miami wins this game by 7. As far as the over-under, that's a lot of points. I do think you can see a lot of points in this game, but when you get up to around 50 or so, if Green Bay's offensive philosophy is to run the football and keep it away from Tua and that offense, I think this game could go under. So I'm staying off of it, but I do like Miami in the points.
I'll give my pick very quickly. The Butt Fumble Sports pick for this one is Miami on the money line. I also like Miami to cover after I buy it down. But other than that, I'm not really touching this game. Probably going to stay away from most of it unless I see something good come about through public money coming down throughout the week. Lope, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's been tough, 3-game stretch for the Dolphins for sure. They need this game a lot. And obviously, if the Packers don't win, their season's over, even though it's kind of teetering anyways. But I think McDaniel kind of found something. If he runs the ball early and kind of keeps a little bit of a balance, that it does help the passing game. So I think that's something they're going to try. So Mostert could have a big game with Wilson hurt. And then, yeah, I'm in agreement. Hill and Waddle are obviously trouble for everyone, especially if you try to bring safeties down to help with the run. So I'm in agreement. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I don't know about the cover. I'm a little bit shaky on it, but at least the money line. And unless the line moves a little bit, I'm going to stay off the over under.
Dennis, any fantasy plays we like in this one?
I think this is the first time I'm saying it all year. I like Aaron Rodgers, and the reason for that is not necessarily my confidence in Green Bay as much as I think that they're going to be playing from behind. With Miami's 31st against quarterbacks in fantasy, Rodgers is available at a very affordable $5,700 on DraftKings. So he might be my stream of the week for a quarterback on DFS.
The next game that we have, 4 p.m. on Sunday, we're going to go through it very